Hey there, everyone. My name is Anthony Avina. Welcome to another episode of my weekly readings. This week, I thought I would delve into one of the many books I'm working on right now. This book is a science fiction novel. Very first attempt at writing like a fully fledged science fiction novel. It is tentatively called Odd Discoveries. And this is, a work in progress, so this does not reflect the final copy of the book. It doesn't reflect the final title of the book. Many things can change between now and the time I decide to publish it myself, or if I'm lucky enough, have someone else publish it for me. But I have this and two other books I'm working on right now. So I thought I would share just a small excerpt from the very beginning of this book. This book is called Odd Discoveries. The quotes, which, I love to use quotes at the beginning of my novels. Here are the quotes. First one. Today, we are on a path of decay. We are seeing the book close on 5 decades of accomplishment as the leader in human space exploration. This is from Gene Cernan, Cernan. Second quote. I am very much against weapons in space, and I wish we could be spearheading that program to come to some kind of international agreement so that doesn't happen. That is my only fear in further space exploration, like always. We hope it doesn't get abused. That is from Scott Bakula. Third and final quote. And I love this quote. It's from Martin Luther King Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. So those are the quotes that I chose to kind of define where this book is going to go. Now here is the very beginning. And I'm only going to read a couple pages, but here we go. Chapter 1. In everyone's life, there are key defining moments in which everything else that life is based upon. For Aiden Pierce, there were 2 key moments that helped define who he was. The first day was the tragic moment his brother was abducted before his eyes. The second day was the day that Earth was destroyed. When Aiden was 10 years old, it was the year 2014. Living in Apple Valley, California, Aiden and his brother were walking down a nearly empty neighborhood about 2 blocks from their 2-bedroom apartment. It was summer, and his brother Jerry was 2 years older than Aiden. 12-year-old Jerry was about 5 feet tall, very thin, and had short-cut blonde hair. And he was very arrogant and sure of himself, like most boys were at that age. Hurry up, slowpoke. Mom's going to kill us if we're late for lunch, Jerry called out to Aiden. I'm not a slowpoke, Aiden said defiantly. Aiden at that age was a tad shorter than Jerry, with short black hair, tan skin, like his brother and mother before him, and dazzling green eyes. He idolized his big brother and hoped he'd be strong and smart just like Jerry. He hated when his brother dragged on him, because he wanted to be looked at as his equal, not his underling. Then why are you dragging behind so much? Because I can't stand that ugly face of yours. Keep up that smart mouth of yours and I'm going to kick your teeth in. You can try, but you're getting slower in your old age. Jerry and Aiden, wiser beyond their years, continued to rag on each other back and forth as they walked down the abandoned street. While they did so, neither of them noticed the unmarked black SUV cruising behind them until it pulled up beside them. The brothers stopped in their tracks and stared at the tinted windows of the SUV. Neither of them spoke, and thoughts of child molesters and serial killers ran through their mind, after spending their childhood growing up in a very twisted world full of those types of individuals. Jerry looked at his younger brother and smiled reassuringly, trying to bring Aiden a sense of relief and confidence. Aiden tried to be brave like Jerry, but fear crept up his spine and into his heart. Suddenly, the window of the front passenger side seat opened up, and the brothers could see two men in the front seat. The driver was an older white male, while the passenger was an African-American male that looked to be in his 20s. Both had shaved heads, wore large sunglasses, and black suits that made them look like the Men in Black. "Hey kids, what are you two doing by yourselves on a hot day like today?" the passenger said. "Just chillin'," Jerry said casually, stepping in front of his brother to block their view of Aiden. "Well, we could use her help. There's a fugitive in the area, and we were wondering if you had seen him." "What does he look like?" Jerry asked, stepping closer to the SUV. "Jerry, don't," Aiden whispered, anxious about the solemn-faced men in the car. "Don't sweat it, little brother. If there's some sick freak on our streets, the only one who's going to get them is me. Just stand back and let me handle things." Jerry slowly walked up, trying to exude confidence, but still retaining that fear and animosity about the two men. Stepping up to the window, he stood up on his tiptoes to look inside. The car was empty, without a single piece of trash, food, or any other paraphernalia that most cars have lying about. "So what's this guy look like?" Jerry asked. Before he could reply, the side of the SUV opened up, and two men jumped out in a blur, picking up Jerry in their arms and carrying him into the car. "Jerry!" Aiden called out, unsure what to do and afraid for both his life and his brother. "Aiden, run! Get Mom and help now!" Jerry called out. A millisecond passed in Aiden's mind in which he thought about running forward, grabbing his brother, and fighting the abductors with all his might. Then fear crept into the 10-year-old's mind, and he decided to heed his brother's advice. Aiden turned and took one last look at his brother as he was being smuggled into the car. The abductors jumped back into the SUV, and as he began to slam the door shut, the brothers locked eyes one last time. And in that moment, a lifetime of guilt and shame began to creep into Aiden's mind. Running away, Aiden's heart began to pound in his chest, until all sound ceased to pour into his ears, and all he could hear was the never-ending beat of his own pumping heart. Faintly, the sound of screeching tires sounded, but Aiden pushed the thoughts away, focused only on getting help for his brother, and running into the safety of his mother's arms. So that's the first part of my story. I have written, 148 pages of this book so far. I've been going back and forth between this book and the drama I'm writing. I hope you guys enjoyed that little excerpt. In the comments below, tell me, as always, what you thought of the story. Would you prefer to hear more of my science fiction novel, little excerpts, or would you rather hear more of the drama I'm writing? Would you actually rather hear more poetry, maybe? Or would you like to read or have me read something that I've already published long ago? Leave those comments down below. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you check out all the social networking links down below. Please give this video a big thumbs up. Please like this video, comment on it, favorite it, and share it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to you guys next week for another episode of my weekly reading. This is Anthony Avina, signing off. Long days and pleasant nights, my friends.